Hey there, it is Wednesday morning, and I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to talk about a video I released on my audio channel yesterday, not my main channel. Usually I don't talk about those, especially not here. Well, I kind of do, but people are not interested unless you're into that stuff, which I assume some of you are because you're probably watching both channels. Anyway, what I'm going to talk about has relevance to everything, not just woodworking or audio or doing stuff, everything in the universe it has relevance for. And what the video, okay, let's talk about the video first. What spurred on the video, and I recorded it, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago. And I had the footage sitting there and I was not getting around to editing it. Finally, I got around to editing it yesterday, and so when it was done, I said, well, why don't you just publish it? So it went up in the afternoon. And the video is on this right here. This is a test that I did to measure how effectively the heat will go across a junction between two pieces of metal when it has different things in there. In particular, this was a response to being criticized for putting polyurethane construction adhesive between the source of heat and the heat sink. And people thought that, and not unreasonably, I'm not saying it's unreasonable to think that, but they thought that that would block the heat. Part of the thinking, I think, was that they were seeing it as something that's thick when it wasn't. And I showed that in this video where I did the test. Now for the test, I had these two strips of aluminum and I marked an X on this one over here. This end of it was clamped down to the corner of my workbench so it would stick out. And I put the heat gun in this area right here to heat it up. So this is where your heat source would be. And then I put the temperature probe out here. My thinking there was that if I put it too close to the heat gun, then the heat gun will be heating up the area around the air around the probe way more than it would be if it's out here. So I thought I would take that possible small variable, because in reality, it would be almost exactly the same for all three. I thought I would take that variable out of it by putting it out here and get a reading out here of how much heat travels from this heated up area right here through this piece that's on the bottom and into the piece that's on the top. The first thing that I test was actual real thermal compound. The second one, however, was the construction adhesive. That's what I used to glue down the heat sinks. That along with a single screw right up through the middle. And I kind of tried to replicate that here with this. This is a single bolt with a single nut that joins these two pieces of aluminum together. The aluminum is the same thickness, same piece actually. I just cut it kind of in half. I made this one over here longer and this one over here shorter. So I ran the test and I thought, I should have known better, knowing how people are after 10 years of this stuff, okay? I thought that the results were very clear, that you could not really see that there could be a major flaw there that would throw the results one way or the other. But I underestimated, once again, the audience. Okay? How do I put this? The best way to put it is this general tendency among a lot of people to incessantly focus on insignificant details. Factors that when combined with other ones may make a subtle difference. Okay, subtle, small difference. But overall, when you look at the big picture, are totally, completely insignificant. Or negligible is the word you would use for that. These factors are small, They show up, but they're insignificant to the big picture, the whole thing. Do you understand? You see a lot of this, and we're working with guys obsessing about the right type of screw to use, whether it should be a wood screw or a metal screw. You're using metal screw when you're working with wood. Oh, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that, because you see the wood screw has this tapered shape on it and all this nonsense here, right? This is what they focus on. This is what they spend inordinate amounts of time discussing and talking about and arguing over and bickering over. This nonsense, really. And, get back to this trivial content stuff that's coming more and more, because it's popular, because this is what these people want to see. This just feeds it. It feeds it. So my videos, like on that channel in particular, are trying to kind of counter that, to show that there actually isn't a huge difference between the things that you put in here. I even put it, like right now, it's bolted together without any stuff in there. And I got virtually the same reading with a clean surface with no compound or no glue. Take out the screw, clean, absolutely clean. And I got almost exactly the same results when it was like that. So that's what I wanted to rant about today. All right, now that's that. And okay, I should also add that if you see this tendency in yourself, if you can self-reflect for a few seconds and see that you fall into that category of the type of person that does that kind of thing, nitpicks incessantly about minor details, then you should probably, give the wheels a tumble, to try to mix it up a little bit and see if you can stand back and reevaluate the way you're thinking and adjust it so that you can see the big picture, the whole thing, and instead of concentrating on factors and details that are of no consequence whatsoever or negligible in the big picture, concentrate on the things that make sense, concentrate on the things that are important. I cannot believe that I got all of that out in a single take without messing up. I had to take a deep breath after I finished that. So, major accomplishment for John today, to get it out in one take. And I think I can live with it. I think I walk that edge of craziness. And I usually tip over when I talk about this stuff that's so frustrating. When you talk to people, when you read their comments, I don't want to insult people, because some of the people that make these comments that think this way are not unintelligent. They're smart, okay? They are intelligent, but they have a way of thinking of things that really puts a magnifying glass on the things that are not important. Here I go again. I keep going with it. I was going to change the camera view and shut up a bit. I'm going to do that now. So, did that yesterday, edited the video, put it up, and it was my intention to come out here this morning and get this thing restarted, get started again on the bandsaw. And I'm going to do that now. But I thought I would unleash a little bit. Because you know what? That's something else I wanted to say, and this is something I've been meaning to say for a while. That's the thing I miss about construction. Okay? Being out in the field and working with other guys and being able to unload every once in a while. Because there's one thing about construction, especially the construction I was involved in, it was commercial construction. You'd be seeing the same guys over and over again. Usually not one job after the other, but you go to the next job, there'd be a group that you knew from other jobs, and then you go to the job after that, there'd be the same group that you just worked with in the job before, and so on and so forth. So you couldn't really be enemies with people. You couldn't really hold grudges too much, because, you'd have to see these people again, and you knew that, and they knew that. So you blow up every once in a while, and you unleash. But then, you know what? A couple days later, you're friends again. You're talking, like normal. But in the meantime, you're able to unload that baggage, okay, to relieve that stress. There's some people that don't do that, but I've never been one. Okay, I need to unload every once in a while, and believe me, okay, with the world as it is today, there is so much I could unload about that I'm holding in, and I'm into the red. The needle is into the red. We're reaching critical mass. Okay, but I'm not going to talk about it. I just, thought I would do that a little bit there, and unload a little bit, drop a little bit. Okay, so yeah, I was going to get working on the bandsaw again, get the tensioner finished, get the belt put on. This is the belt that was on my old bandsaw. I need to shorten this up. I should bring it inside my house where it's warmer to do that, and then I can move on from there. I think that the next part of the build, after I get it started, to do the powered test, okay, is to build a table. Yeah, that'll be the next step. So I'll probably get started on that as well, and maybe finish it. All right. Now, I mean, a couple of years ago, there wouldn't be any question about finishing the table because I just go into, but I'm deliberately kind of taking my time on this because, well, first of all, my enthusiasm for the project is not as high as it could be. And then the other thing is that, it's winter. I like to slow down a little bit, enjoy myself a little bit more, spend a little bit more time, not rushing. Okay. I did that project to fill the gap, the mini router table. So give me a little bit of breathing room with this. If I don't get a video this weekend, I'm not going to, stress about it. Eventually it get done and we'll be able to watch it all and forget about it real quick.
Do not ever call me at the source.
It's just a metaphor, dude.
His people are completely literal. Metaphors are gonna go over his head.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
I'm gonna die surrounded by the biggest idiots in the galaxy.